So I'm going to keep going and do example 2 for binomial, but before I do that, I want to show you something that I've made. So I have this table that shows you with binomial what scenario goes with what, and right now it might not make sense, but as we keep going, it will make better sense. So let's look at a problem, and I'll try to come back to this. So, for example, randomly guessing at a true-false statistics questions has only two outcomes. So success is defined as getting it correct and failure is getting it incorrect. So suppose Joe has always guessed correctly on any statistics true-false question with a probability of 0.6 on a 12-question test. All right, so that means the probability P is 0.6. My trial is 12 because there's 12 questions, and the probability he fails is 0.4. So again, this is a binomial experiment because we have two scenarios that can happen. Either he gets the question right or he doesn't get the question right. All right, so the mean of these is all you have to do is plug and chug. So the mean for this problem is 6 because it's 12 times 0.6, and the standard deviation is 1.7. So when you do these, just make sure to put them correctly in the calculator. All right, so I'm going to show you this problem in Windows. It is slightly different in Mac, but not by much, because once you do the output for one of these problems, you can use it through the rest. All right, so here's all our probabilities. Joe will get exactly 5 test questions correct, 6 or less, less than 8, more than 9, and at least 5. All right, so let's go look at this. All right, so I'm going to go out of here and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so my first step was let me do this. Oops, sorry, it keeps messing up. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Delete cells. Okay, so the first thing I did is I put in a column called Joe, and I did 0 through 12 because there were 12 questions. But remember, there is a chance he could get none of the questions right. So then I'm going to go to Calc, and this is where it's different for Mac. Okay, so Mac is a little bit different. I'm going to do the Windows version, and then I'm going to do a separate video for the Mac version. But everything else is the same. So if you have the Mac version, watch this video and then go watch the other one of how to do it. I'm going to give you some hints that will help. All right, I'm going to Calc. Oops. I'm going to probability distribution, and I'm going to binomial. I'm going to pick probability distribution. I'm going to put in 12 because it's the number of questions I have. Remember, success was 0.6. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, so let's say, oops, come on, quit. Say there's nothing in here. I'm going to go here and pick Joe. One thing that I can do is, let me do this right fast. If I know that I have a bunch of things I'm going to do, I might label what my output's going to be so I can keep it straight. Okay, again, I'm going to Calc, probability distribution, binomial. Again, I hit probability, number of trials, event probability, where my data is. Oops. And again, if you do it twice, it doesn't like it. So I did Joe. And then my optional storage, I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to do that for Joe. Okay. Then I hit OK. All right, it gives me all this information, and I'm going to go back and forth to it. So this is the information you need for all those 5 scenarios. It's that easy. So let's go look at it. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. All right, so the probability that Joe will get exactly 5 right. So I need to go, I've done my answers in Minitab, and I'm walking you through how to do it with the Windows. All right, so what I'm given that he gets exactly 5. So for him to look for 5, I need to go to where he has 5 under Joe and get that probability. That means that he got exactly 5 test questions correct. I don't have to do anything else. So my answer is the probability that Joe will get exactly 5 test questions correct is 0.1009. All right. So the part B was, what's the probability Joe will get 6 or less test questions correct? So all I have to do is find the 6 and add, oops, let me go back. it messed up on me because I touched the screen. All I do is go to 6, take these values under output and add them together. I'm going to show you a hint. I open an Excel file and I have all of the values here, okay? Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, I have all the values here, and I'm going to push this up here because you're going to like this when I do this. All right, so I said 6 or less, right? Well, I'm going to highlight 6 and less, and if I look down here under sum, it gives me 0.33479. And if I go back to my PowerPoint, my answer is 0.3348 because I rounded. That is a simple way to do this. So what did that did for me? It added the output from 0 to 6, which gave me the correct answer. All right, for part C, it says less than 8. So less than 8 means under 8. I don't want to include 8. So I'm going to do 0 to 7 for my output. And again, I'm going to go to Excel right fast. So I want 0 to 7. So if I do that, I go down here, I get 0.5618. If I go back to my PowerPoint, yep, 0.5618. It's that easy. It should be able to do this in the Mac version too. Okay, for D, it wants the probability Joe will get more than 9 questions. So more than 9 means I don't care if you got 9. I want to know more than 9. So I'm going to do all the values over 9. So that's going to be 10, 11, and 12. So again, if I add those up, I get 0.08344. If I go back to Minitab, all I have to do is this. Add these together. And again, if I look down here, it gives me my answer. Okay, so keep going. So the last one, at least 5 test questions correct. So at least 5 means he got 5 and over correctly. So think of that for at least. So then if I go and I'm going to add 5 and greater for my output. Again, I'm going to go here. I'm going to add this together and I get 0.9427. So that's my answer. Okay, again, the Mac version is very, very slightly different. All the answers will be the same. But I want to go back and do one more thing. Let's go back and talk about this table. All right, this table. So once I've run my data, so exactly means I'm looking at that answer like we did for A. At most means that you're going to add up the results of Minitab till you get to what the X is. Fewer than means you don't include the X. At least means you include X and go over. And more than means you don't include X. So this is what that table means. It's talking about all the scenarios we did right here. I hope this has helped, and I'm going to make a quick guide to the Mac one to help. Thanks.